Hi, I'm David Duncan and welcome to the Golden Years of Hollywood. Well, in this episode, I want to look at one of the most innovative and creative film ventures in the history of film. Motion pictures were in their infancy when this film was produced in 1933, which makes it even more of an achievement. Whilst the special effects are no match for today's computer images, King Kong is still an amazing and entertaining film and was one of the first big Hollywood blockbusters. Produced and directed by the visionary Merian C. Cooper for RKO Studios, the film took over a year to make, and whilst it was a costly venture, it ended up saving RKO from bankruptcy. Fay Wray, who played the lead female role of Anne Darrow, was told initially that she would be starring opposite the biggest male lead ever, and she thought it might have been Cary Grant or Clark Gable. She was in for a surprise.
He said, "You're going to have the tallest, darkest leading man in Hollywood." But when he first told me, I was thinking that at that time about Cary Grant because I liked him very, very much, and I having done a play with him in New York. Well, who wouldn't?
Scream for your life!
The story was an innovative one and had Fay Wray's character as an out-of-work actress in New York who's signed by a filmmaker called Carl Denham, who's played by Robert Armstrong.
It's money and adventure and fame. It's the thrill of a lifetime and a long sea voyage that starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
The project would have them travel to the mysterious Skull Island for a period of location shooting. Upon arriving at the island, they find it's inhabited by natives that revere a mythic creature called Kong. Captured by the natives and offered up as a sacrifice, poor Anne has no idea what her fate will be, but it's not long before she finds out as she comes face to face with the mighty Kong. Realizing that Anne is no longer on board the ship, Denham and the crew, headed by Jack Driscoll, played by Bruce Cabot in his first main role, set out to rescue Anne from the clutches of Kong. Now it's here that they encounter a range of prehistoric animals that had them running for their lives. Coming face to face with Kong, many of the crew are killed. However, Jack is able to escape and follows Kong in the hope that it will lead him to Anne. It's during this time that we see that Kong has developed a fascination with Anne, which leads him to becoming more of a protector rather than a threat. When the opportunity strikes, Jack rescues Anne and they scale down a cliff to safety. Rushing back to the ship, Kong is in hot pursuit and rampages through the native village, only to be stunned by the gas bombs thrown at him by Carl Denham.
We're millionaires, boys. I'll share it with all of you. Why, in a few months it'll be up in lights on Broadway. Kong, the eighth wonder of the world!
Now captured and put on display in a New York theatre, Kong is more determined than ever to recapture Anne, feeling that she's being threatened by the large crowds. Breaking free from his chains, Kong rampages through the streets of New York, causing death and destruction. Once again finding Anne, he captures her and in an attempt to escape, scales the Empire State Building. In the now iconic finale, biplanes shoot at Kong until he finally loses his grip and falls to his death. The magic of movies is fully realised in King Kong through the imagination of Merian C. Cooper and his story, backed by a wonderful team of animators and compositors headed by Willis O'Brien, who literally invented new techniques for this film. Marcel Delgado revolutionised the stop-motion industry. Prior to this, stop-motion models were typically made from clay, which was difficult to adjust between the shots. Delgado built a skeleton for his models, which was made from dural, which is a type of aluminium, and it was then filled in with foam rubber or cotton cloth and covered with latex to serve as skin, giving his models a more natural and realistic look, while simultaneously making it easier to handle them. Sometimes he also incorporated an inflatable bladder that helped him simulate breathing. The work was long and tedious, and to illustrate this, the fight scene between Kong and the pterodactyl took more than 7 weeks to film. Award-winning composer Max Steiner wrote the score for the film, which is reputed to be the first ever full-length musical score written for a sound film. Well, upon release, King Kong proved it was also mighty at the box office by grossing more than $90,000 in its opening weekend, the biggest ever opening at the time, and this was during the Depression. It was the only film to be screened at 2 of the largest theatres in New York City simultaneously. That was the Roxy and Radio City Music Hall, that had a combined seating capacity for over 10,000 people, and it sold out every performance, that's 10 a day, at both theatres. The film itself was so successful that it spawned a number of spin-offs and remakes over the years, most notably with the 2005 Peter Jackson version starring Naomi Watts, Jack Black and Adrian Brody. But as entertaining and well done as that remake was, nothing can beat the original for sheer imagination and creative brilliance that helped to shape special effects in the film industry. Not only is it still a joy to watch today, but it's also a shining example of that era in motion pictures that we call the golden years of Hollywood. I'm David Duncan. See you next time.